You too. Hello and welcome everybody to the stream. Let me know if you can hear me. Today we have a very spicy topic, as you can already see here at the top. Can WordPress survive the AI era? Because we've all seen what's happening. There is so much changing in our industry. And for this topic, I have a very, very special guest. His name is Jamie Marsland, and he works for Automatic, the mother company of WordPress.com. So he is close to the fire. He knows what's happening and what is being developed. He is testing a lot on his channel. He's also a YouTuber. So I'm incredibly excited to have him here on the show. So let me switch to the scene, and there he is. Welcome, Jamie.
Hey, Rena, how are you?
Good, good. I'm excited for this one because I have been a fan of what you've been posting, mainly on Twitter. I don't always have time to check all of the YouTube videos, but I do actually check your channel quite a lot compared to others, because you talk about new stuff and you have a vision about the future, which I really admire. You post all kinds of interesting things on your Twitter, on your X. I still find it weird to say that because it sounds like your ex-girlfriend, but yeah, whatever. Please tell us a little bit about yourself, about your background, about your relationship with WordPress, and then we can dive into the main topic.
I'll be brief. So I currently work for Automatic. Well, I do work for Automatic, which is an amazing place to work with some amazing people. We're the parent company of WordPress.com and also WooCommerce and a whole bunch of other brands. And I'm currently working in head of YouTube for them, so around content creation in all sorts of really interesting areas, actually. So we're doing some, video in terms of YouTube stuff, but we're also doing some really interesting stuff about, which you and I have never spoken about, but video AI generation, which is like a really fascinating topic in itself. So we're starting to experiment in that area as well. My background is publishing. I've been in publishing all my life on both sides. So creating publishing systems for folks a long time ago. This is a long time ago where we dealt with things like HTML, and you had databases and you had to push that information to paper, intranet, CD-ROM, and then internet. But I've also run businesses, publishing businesses as well. And those have been like with paper. So they've had like magazines and stuff like that. And then I've worked for marketing businesses, creating systems for publishing businesses. And then for the last sort of 15 years, I started my own business called Poodle Press, where we started off as a WordPress training business, which essentially was me traveling around the country, training people face to face, like in rooms, 20 people at a time. And I've trained about 5,000 people face to face on WordPress. So I've got
Whoa.
a lot of experience in classrooms, seeing people how they actually use WordPress. A lot of those people were beginners, but also trained agencies, and also I did a series with the Guardian newspaper, Guardian masterclasses, and then went into big brands and trained them. So training forms a big part of my DNA and my love of WordPress, and seeing how it transforms and has transformed people's lives. It's literally, you train them in WordPress and they can literally go off and run their businesses and make money and start their new thing and all that kind of good stuff. So, and I think that the kind of the DNA of that is it lives within me in terms of that beginner WordPress experience, and it forms a lot of my opinions of where I think this stuff is all heading. And I think I naturally know, because I've seen 5,000 people face to face using these tools, what people want in a tool like WordPress and what they want to achieve. So that feedback loop has been incredibly valuable in forming a lot of the opinions. During that process, I'll get to the point quickly. During that process, we also built some plugins. So the business grew and we built some plugins, mostly around WooCommerce and Gutenberg. So I've also run a plugin business as well. So I've kind of got I've got a lot of broad experience of WordPress is a multifaceted thing. Like there's so many different people are using it for so many different things. It's very easy to get pigeonholed and think this is WordPress. I have a fairly good view on what people are using, but still my view is still a bit myopic in terms of, goodness me, the amount of use cases that people are using WordPress for. It's very easy to be reductive and thinking this is what WordPress needs to be. So I have a good broad vision of how WordPress is being used, I think. That's a long rambly saying my experience, but I'm passionate about publishing, and I'm even more passionate about feeling like we're incredibly lucky to be at this moment in this time. I think the past year and the next 4 years are going to be incredibly foundational in terms of the next 100 years. Probably we're at this moment like there was a 30-year period in the Industrial Revolution where change happened that then impacted the next 200 years. I think we're at that point for the next 5 years, that the next 5 years is going to start to shape probably the next 100 years in terms of what a great time to be in publishing. What a fortunate time to be in publishing. It's incredibly scary and disruptive, but it is also we'll look back and think this was the moment. You were there. You guys were working on tools that were shaping 43% of the web, and you were there, at that time, seeing it all happen. It's like being at the first ever Beatles concert, or seeing Oasis when they just about to break through. What a time to be alive. Right, that's enough. That's what I'm going to say. Yeah, it's a very exciting time to be in publishing.
I love your mindset about it. I think there is a lot of fear. For me personally, I think it's like a mix of fear and excitement. Like some days I wake up and I'm like, oh shit, what's happening? And then the next day I'm like, yeah, let's go.
Yeah, I'm the same. I have 3 daughters, and I do have 3 a.m. moments where I wake up and I'm worrying about they're all kind of university age. I'm like, what are they going to be doing in 5 years' time? What's the for information economy workers, what are they going to be doing? So I'm the same. I'm very optimistic about this stuff, and I'm very excited about it, and I'm on it all the time, like thinking about it or playing with it or developing on it. But I still part of my brain is this is existentially very bad, and we're probably we could end up in a really, really bad place.
Yeah. Oh. Wait, where's Jamie? Wait, are you guys also not seeing him anymore? Wait, what's going on? Jamie, where are you? Uh-oh, we're having a little bit of a technical difficulty. I am very sorry. Guys, I'm sorry, I will text him. Let's see what's happening there. Yes, he's gone. Okay, so it's not just me. Okay, well, in the meantime, let me know where you're watching from. I see a lot of people in the chat. It's very nice, but unfortunately, Jamie... Ecamm crashed. Okay, All right, so something crashed. The link is on WhatsApp, Jamie, so please jump back in because I was hanging on your lips and I think everybody was. Yes, bad place came earlier. Socket timeout. Used up tokens. What? What do you mean tokens? You mean AI tokens? Okay, we're having people watching from Netherlands, France, and we have Denmark. And what else do we have over here? We have people from Germany. We have Paul from the USA. We have Lana from Ukraine. I think she's still in the Ukraine because she's from Krokoblock. And we have Jeremy from the UK. Jamie, you have to pay. Yeah, you have to pay. You have to pay for the for the AI credits. Wait, he's sending me a WhatsApp. Unable to start a call. OT socket close timeout. What is this, Jamie? This is so weird. Jamie, this is this is bad. Okay, let's chat with ChatGPT. Let's chat with ChatGPT. Oh wait, no, let's do Claude. Does my Claude start up? I think it will. Okay. Oh, there he is. There he is. Okay, okay. I was just about to ask Claude.
Ah.
There he is. What happened? What did you send to me? What is that? Socket close timeout?
I had to delivery. No, I think there was some technical problem with Ecamm. I think. Let's hope it doesn't. Let's hope it doesn't happen again.
Yeah.
I've never seen that before. Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, where were you? You were in the middle of something, but now I got a bit lost.
I was rambling about this moment of AI excitement that we're in.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah, I was saying like I love your mindset about it. I think some days are fear, some days are exciting. Of course, we should look at the exciting part of life. If we start to look at the negative sides, then nothing great will come from that. But we have to face the reality that we're in a very disruptive time, and disruption means that we have to let go of certain things. And for me, to slowly get into the topic, for me, one of these moments was when I started to see, and this is only like 1 or 2 weeks old, when we're starting to see that the AI experience we have seen in external tools, yeah, external tools, that was my camera, external tools like Lovable and Bolt, that kind of vibe coding, just prompt and things get generated. We're now starting to see this kind of stuff pop off inside of the builders we already use. And you are a big fan of Gutenberg. I'm more like an Elementor guy, but I also have a lot of friends who work in Bricks. I have friends who work in Divi. But we're starting to see demos now where we can generate a website inside of the builder, and then it's using the proper block structure or widget structure. And when I saw that, and I have a demo which I want to show because you have actually been sharing some very interesting stuff on Twitter or X. Let me just change to my browser. Can we all see this? Yes. Let me see if they can still hear you. Can you say something?
Oh yeah, I'm here.
Okay. So yeah, Jamie shares very interesting stuff on his Twitter. You can see that he made this website. I mean, this looks amazing, and it's Claude code connected inside of WordPress using the new WordPress.com connector. I'm not sure how this works. Is this generating Gutenberg blocks, or is it just straight code?
That example, I think, is straight code actually, but it can. I produced another tweet which is pretty identical to that, which is Gutenberg. Now, WordPress.com has just released. We haven't really talked about it yet. We're about to talk about it. An MCP connector, so you can actually talk via Claude to a WordPress.com site, which is the really cool bit about it, though. The bit where I had a sort of eureka moment, as in this is really, really cool, is the way we've written the MCP in WordPress.com. It's not just talking to WordPress, which is nice in itself, but the MCP the connection will understand the entirety of your website. So it understands the entire stack of your website, or will do.
Yeah.
And so what that means is when you talk to it, you don't have to tell it what fonts and what colors and what CSS your site is using. It knows that intuitively, which is like, that's really cool, because then you can say, right, build me a landing page, and it needs to have this kind of content. It'll go off and do it, but it'll actually understand your design aesthetic. And I did a few other tests with it, like I said, which is quite cool. So you can start to do new stuff with it. Like you can say, from this website, create me a brand guideline document that I can send to an agency. And it just did it, like a few seconds later, beautiful brand document. Or analyze this against my competitors for SEO. And it comes back with an SEO plan. So for the first time, like a lot of the tools I've been playing with AI and WordPress, they've been little tools built within WordPress. Like create some content, add an alt tag to my images, blah, 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 blah. For the first time with these tools, it understands your entire stack, which is a huge thing. Like when I'm talking to Lovable, it naturally understands my entire stack, because that's what the stack is built on. It just knows everything about what I'm trying to do. For the first time, I had that moment last week with WordPress.com MCP. It was like, oh, it really does understand my entire website. And that's a huge shift over and above just building little tools within little plugins within the WordPress stack. Once AI can understand the entire website, it can kind of, it becomes a proper design partner for you. So it was a good moment.
Yeah. Well, I also had this moment last week. I did create this simple demo, and it's not perfect, but this was completely generated with Claude, and this is not yet what you're describing, but I just literally started in the desktop application of Claude Code. I connected to WordPress Studio MCP, and it's a boring layout. I mean, it's everything is three columns, but and the fonts are messed up here. It's not even using the right colors, etc. But like the fact that it could do that was really impressive, because I also had a moment this week with Claude Code where I could wait. Let me switch back to this one. I had a moment where I connected Claude Code via the MCP to my accounting software, and then I wrote a specific skill on how, for the software subscriptions that I have in my business, and how I need to file that to the government in the Netherlands, right? And so instead of just asking ChatGPT like, hey, how should I file this? No, this is specifically made for me. This is literally how I trained a person in my company 4 years ago. Like this company, you should file that as this. And so I saw like just Claude is amazing. MCPs are amazing because your agent can do stuff on its own in these other tools. But then combining that with skills, that's where you can then set up the instructions, and we can, what probably is going to happen, that WordPress itself will roll out a skill or a plugin. I'm not exactly sure that in Claude Code what the difference is between a plugin and a skill, but it's a set of instructions. And then if you combine that with your own workflow, so your own classes, like you said, your own color system, whatever, that is incredibly powerful. Like this is, it's not as big of a moment as when Claude came out, or I mean, when ChatGPT came out, that was of course the big boom in our industry. But I don't know about you, but I feel like this moment is also one of these absolutely big moments. Well, not the moment as AI was invented or generative AI was invented, but it's this moment of like, wait, I can connect all of my tools and I can build it exactly for my workflow, and that also means that I can make it exactly for my client's workflow. I just need to figure out what they're doing, right? And then we can build all kinds of systems. So do you also see it this way, that this is one of these big moments?
I think and by the way, there's a massive opportunity for agencies to go into customers like you've just described and automate their businesses and bring AI into the business. That's just such a huge opportunity. If you're sitting there worrying about the fact that you might lose some of this front-end design CSS stuff, there's even more opportunity to go into customers and say, you could improve this. by automating all this stuff through AI and bring all these tools. I mean, huge opportunities there. But yeah, I sense the same thing. Like, can I show you? Can I share my screen on a few things that have happened recently that maybe people haven't seen? Is that
Of
possible?
course, that will be super cool. Let me switch to this one. Let me just quickly check the comments. In the meantime, somebody said my connection is not good. Oh, Vito is here from Atarim. Is it still bad, Vito? Nice alignment on the. I know my website is bad. It was just generated with Claude. Okay, don't criticize my design, guys. We're talking about WordPress replacement plus AI plus WordPress combo. So WordPress was. I'm gonna ask this question. We're gonna get to this question, okay? But we're first needing to talk a little bit about AI generation inside of WordPress, because that's also here, and that's what Jamie is showing now. And then of course we're also going to ask critical questions like, where does WordPress have a place in a world where everything can be generated and databases can connect it. But let's first look at some examples that are AI in WordPress, because we're not just magically going to switch tomorrow to all our website. We're not going to switch that to AI coding, vibe coding tools. That's not going to happen, right? So yeah, let's get into this.
So I'm going to show you a few sites. These have all been vibe coded. These are all Gutenberg block theme sites that now in Telex, which is Automatic's kind of experimental block generation tool, which previously you could create like block plugins. Now you can create block themes in it, which we haven't talked about, but we're about to. And I'm going to show you some early stuff. So these is, I was prepping a demo and I built these sites. So this is one here. This is just vibe coded. But my point of showing you this stuff is we're getting to the point now where Lovable was last year in terms of the front end design stuff. We can achieve some really cool, I'm going to show you a few other ones. We can achieve some really cool front end designs. Let me show you. I've got a couple more here to show you.
This is already quite cool. It's like, it feels human made. It feels custom, not like the boring blocky.
No, exactly. I've got to stop sharing that and share this one. This is another one. Let me, hold on. This one here. Okay.
Wait, can you replay it?
Yeah, I'll replay it. Hold on. Let's go back. 1 second. Here we go. Can you see that?
Yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah.
That's cool, right?
Yeah, that's cool.
This is all built with Telex. So people can, if anyone's watching, you can go to Telex now and vibe code a block theme.
Wait, for the people that don't know.
Yeah, sorry, go on.
Yeah, for the people that don't know, you're saying you can just go to Telex, but the from what I know, what Telex is a widget generator, or as it's called in Gutenberg, a block generator. You can create custom block, but you're saying you can create a whole website now?
You can create, well, a block theme. This is essentially a website, but it's a block theme that you can then download and use on a customer site. This is ready today. At the moment, it just creates like the index template. So it doesn't create your other templates, but you can reprompt it to create all those templates. It's really cool. I'm going to show you another one. I've got one more to show you, I think.
This is really cool.
So let's just drag this one in. Maybe I don't. Hold on. No, I don't have the other one here. I don't think, do I? Oh, maybe. Oh, yeah, I do have one more. Yeah.
Okay.
This one here. Let me just. Oh, no. I may have shown you this. Let me share it anyway, because I may not have done. This shows you, let me rewind this. This shows you the process currently in Telex when you're actually, so Telex gives you like 4 choices. You basically vibe code, and then it will give you 4 choices, and then you choose the design you like.
Oh, wow.
Cool, right? And then you can go off and further prompt.
Wait, so Telex is like a vibe coding tool. It's not just a widget generator.
Yes, exactly. You got it. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, that's.
So we haven't really publicized this yet, but the functionality is there, and you can go and play with it and start experimenting with it. But it's really cool. It's very powerful.
But this is really new stuff, right?
Really new. Yeah, you're the first person to see this, Reno.
Well, well, okay, that's really cool. Thank you. Thank you for giving this demo.
But
It's the
the
first
point
time on
is,
YouTube.
yeah, cool. My point is, for the first time, this feels. I mean, tell me what you think after you played with it. This feels like
Yeah.
a lovely experience to me in terms of the kind of designs that we're starting to be able to create with core WordPress blocks, because the models have got so good
Yeah.
that they start to understand block markup. Now, there's another question about block markup and the future of editing, and a lot of this stuff is for discussion. But these experiments are happening, and we're in a different place to where we were 3 months ago in terms of the technology. December was a big shift, right? I don't know if you felt it. December felt like a big shift in terms of what the capability of all these models was, and it's kind of incredible where we're at.
Yeah, I mean, I took time off of work in December, and when I came back, it felt like, wait, this is a different world. It was not just a different year.
Yeah, I had a week, and I had a week off. I went to the Maldives for a week, and I came back, and everyone was talking about
4.5,
remote.
I think.
Well, they know what they're talking about. I missed Remotion, and I missed
Mm,
what else? Flowbot, I think. Yeah, so I missed like the two biggest things that happen. But that's like every week at the moment, right? We're kind of
yep.
you take some time away, and the world has changed. So it's hard. I mean, it's one of the issues I've got as a content creator. It's impossible to keep up. You spend your whole time, like if you're going to create some content, getting off
Yeah.
topic. If you're going to
Yeah.
try and create some content, you've got to keep up, understand the thing deeply to
Yeah.
be able to communicate it. So it's
Yeah.
a hard time to be in content. It's a harder time to be in products, but it's a hard time to be in content.
Yeah, but okay, but yes, and yes. But think about the agencies. Like I talk to many of my friends who have agencies, and like I don't have a lot of time for client work. I love to do more, but I because this takes a lot of time to create quality content. But I okay, yes, we're absolutely there, and that's why I'm trying to do a lot of live stream, because I don't have to plan it, I don't have to edit it. We're just talking, and it's live, and it's done, and it's not, it's nice, and it's interactive. But like, we have the time to explore this and then record it and publish it. But like, a lot of agencies, they have to focus their time on client work right now, and you're
Yeah,
using the tool. You cannot easily switch to another tool. And that's why I also think that people who say like, oh, WordPress is doomed, WordPress is over next year, it's like, well, do you realize that first of all, most websites do not get a refresh every year. It's more around, I think it's more around 4 years that every website gets a refresh. Right now, AI has a lot of risks. It's not super developed yet, to the point where where everybody, well, where we think it's safe and it's good enough. So I think for the next few years, most websites are not going to change, just because there's no need to completely rebuild your website with vibe coding. Um, but I feel like if you're doing client work right now, you feel like the earth is moving beneath your feet. Um, and that's just one thing that I want to say about that, and I want your vision on it as well. And then we're gonna get into this topic of WordPress and page builders. But do you also feel like the well, probably the FOMO of trying to keep up with all of this shit, um, but then also that it's better to just focus on the perspective that the world and the humans are going to be here, and the technology is going improving so fast right now, and especially when we reach AGI. Not sure if that's going to happen, but if the AI can start to improve itself, then yeah, I feel like the gap between what is technologically possible and where humans are, that gap is going to grow. So this thing will go up and up, and it's like, it's impossible to catch. And so how do we deal with
yeah,
that? I think we should just let it go up, and just try to look at what the humans are doing right now and the businesses and try to just move them up a little bit? How do you deal with this anxiety of the FOMO?
That's a great question. I think it depends what situation you're in. If you're sitting there and you've got to pay your mortgage and you've got you've got children to feed and all that stuff, and you're running a business, I think there are massive opportunities in the disruption that pick a lane and go after it. Like I was saying, there's a huge amount of opportunity for business process optimization at the moment. It's just so vast, the opportunity, that how you bring in AI into a business, and that's a huge opportunity. So I'd look for, try not to worry about the weight of everything. Look at certain opportunities. There's money in the mountains if you just go searching for it, I think, at the moment, for agencies that have typically done this kind of work. But I don't see people being paid for writing CSS in 3 years' time. I don't think that's where, I don't see the market going there. But I think there's even more opportunity around. I see a lot of WordPress websites that aren't brilliant and could be improved through AI. Like, most of them I see could be improved, and the processes that fall off those could be improved. So I think it's a massive opportunity to make things a lot better for, if you're looking to make money out of this stuff. It's going to feel very disruptive, but I don't think it's going to be writing CSS. I think the value is going to move from the front end design stuff. And then in terms of my thinking around where I spend my time, I'm trying to think foundationally around the time I spend on this stuff. So take video AI generation, for example, which is a huge interest of mine at the moment. I've been doing a lot of kind of foundational work around learning storytelling and learning how films are made and how to write, as opposed to spending all my time. I'm spending a lot of time, actually, but spending all my time in the tooling. Step back and say, what are actually the foundational skills that, regardless of where the technology is in a year's time, are going to be incredibly valuable in a year's time, for me personally, or for you personally. And for video generation, that's storytelling, and it's how to write and how to pace. And that doesn't matter what tool you're using. That stuff is still, regardless of the tooling, learning that stuff now is probably more important than the tooling, because that's going to put you in good stead when video generation finally gets to a point, which I'm hugely excited about, that I can just talk to it and craft a story. I mean, it's clunky now, but it won't be clunky in a year's time. So that would be my advice. Think of what the foundational stuff is that where the value foundationally is for you, and put learning into that stuff.
Okay, so I just want to go a little bit on that sidetrack that you introduced, and then I want to go back to WordPress. But do you also feel like we should not think in terms of web designer, web developer anymore, but more like systems architects, or Elementor calls it web creator, which is more like a general term, instead of thinking about writing CSS or making a design more pretty. We're going beyond websites. I mean, the creative skills can be used in other areas, and that's valuable for companies, right? So should we think even outside of websites, apart from the WordPress conversation?
Yeah, well, I think it depends a bit on what you're comfortable with and what you want to do, and
Okay.
but I can see where the value probably isn't going to be. Probably look forward and say, where is the value going to be in 3 years' time for me as a business or an individual? And I don't think it's going to be in some of the places where we've historically, where kind of the small agency market in WordPress has typically made their money. I think it's going to be in different places. Now, I think you can probably start to assume where those places are going to be and start to move your business that way. So I think it really depends on where each business is at, because there's going to be so many niche examples of how folks are making money out there. But I think you can see, a bit like you can see with, my worries about my children, where their value is going to be in time, the type of work they're going to be doing. I think you can start to plot where AI is going to be in a year, 2 years' time, 3 years' time. And I don't think you want to be in those places as a business. You want to be in, where's the value going to be for that? And that might be tying together these tools, but it might, I think as well, it's going to be in whole new areas that we don't even know about yet, in terms of, AI video generation is going to be honestly, it's going to be the most massive. I mean, it's big now, but it's going to be the most massive, have the most massive impact on the world, in my view.
Okay.
And it's going to impact us culturally and in all sorts of places. So, where's that going to be in a year's time? What does that mean for opportunities? Do I want to start an AI video production company?
Okay, okay. I
You
don't
know what I
know
mean?
about. I have no idea what your ideas with the AI video generation, but I would love to talk about that. But I do want to park that on a separate a call or a separate a live stream because I'm very interested in it personally. But I do want to specifically focus a little bit on the part that you said about the numbers. So can you stop sharing your screen?
Yeah. Actually, I've got another. Can I show you one more chart while we're
Oh,
here?
okay. Oh, well, actually, I have the chart. The chart.
Have you got that? The one with the growth.
Yeah, here, this one. This one.
Yeah,
This
yeah,
is
yeah,
what I
yeah.
want. Okay, okay. So this is what I wanted to get to. When you said we don't know where this is all going, of course that's true. Nobody has a real idea, but what we do know is numbers, right? We can track stuff, and so this is a very interesting graph that you shared on an article that was called "Wave One Went to Lovable." Why wave two might be a different story. Okay, so can you explain, while I'm zooming into this,
That's cool.
what are we looking at here and why did it make you think?
So this is a chart that shows the growth in coding over the past few years, right? And it shows that we've gone through a huge peak. And what we've got on the left is the number of new websites that are being built, gone up massively. I think it's about 35%. Then the number of new OS apps, and then we've got some GitHub stuff over on the right. There's another bit here of this chart which is missing out, in my view, which is software. Actually, I think we've seen a massive, and I'm not sure quite how they're classifying. I think we've probably seen a massive wave of new software being built because a lot of these vibe coding apps actually let you build software. But what this says to me is that there has been a huge growth in new websites, but I don't think we've felt that yet in the WordPress space. I might be wrong, but me talking to agencies and folks haven't seen an explosion of growth. I think we've been, and if you look at the kind of WordPress interest over time, I think we've seen a slight plateauing of interest. And that's because these vibe coding tools that we hadn't heard about 2 years ago, nobody had heard about Lovable. I don't think Lovable existed 2 years ago. Lovable and Bolt.new, nobody had heard of these 2 years ago, but they've come into this market and they've seen enormous growth. And actually, I do have some numbers on Lovable, but not here.
It's the fastest growing company in Europe right now, I heard.
I think ever, probably software company ever. So it's had enormous growth, and I think, and that's because they don't have any legacy. It's very simple to build with. They don't have WordPress's abstractions to deal with. But I do. My point of the article was showing this graph and say I don't think we've ridden this first wave, but I do think there is an opportunity for WordPress to ride the second and third waves, which I think often happens with technologies, whereas the newbies come into the market, and because they have no legacy, it's very easy for them to build out and grow. WordPress is a bit like an oil tanker. It's slower to adapt, but now actually with the models getting so good, it's getting to the point where it can, as you've seen some of the designs I've shown you, it can start to compete in terms of the design. So I think what WordPress's opportunity is to catch the second and third waves as it evolves and the models get better, and the work that James LePage is doing within the core AI team is fabulous as well. So there's some great stuff going on within WordPress. The models are getting incredibly good so they can understand WordPress. So WordPress, it probably feels slow for folks at the moment, but it is quite well positioned in terms of there is 43% of the web that is using it. So what we might see, here's a prediction, what we might see over the next few years is the number of sites being built with WordPress might grow again, but its market share might drop, which is quite a thing to say, because I think the overall market is growing enormously, and I think people like Lovable will continue to grow. But I think there's still a massive opportunity in WordPress in that space, even though we might look at the market share numbers, they might not be at 43%. But the number of the monetary opportunity for folks building on WordPress might be bigger because the whole market is growing quite, there's still a huge market opportunity for new websites, as that chart shows us.
Yeah, so what you're actually describing is a change in accessibility, and I'm not talking about web accessibility, like making your button link so you can open it in a screen reader. No, I mean like accessibility as in making the web accessible, because I'm actually working on a video like this where I'm making a visualization of the 3 phases of web development. And the first phase, what I see, what I think is that it was completely developer or coding dependent. But then around 2018, 19, Divi was the first one, but that was still in the back end with dragging and dropping short code blocks. But then at some point Elementor came, and that was the first full front end, or it was not the absolute first one, but the first one that did it properly and had proper marketing, etc. And so this then attracted guys like me, because I was, in that time, I still had I already wanted to make websites and web apps as well, but I couldn't, so I had to work with a developer in order to create customized WordPress themes, right? That's how things were done. People were downloading something from Theme Forest, and then if you're lucky, you could finish with a Theme Forest theme, but probably not, because there's some limitations and it was built not perfectly, and so you had to customize it in order to do anything. And so Elementor obviously solved that issue. Not completely, it's not that themes were completely irrelevant, but I think they captured most of the market, and I would even argue that some parts of WordPress growth has come from Elementor, because WordPress itself didn't provide much more after they introduced a whole plugin directory. The plugin directory is incredibly useful, because it's a whole system of literally 2 clicks, install and activate. And then you get a lot of functionality, which is even easier than vibe coding an SEO tool, for example. But the market moved to this point where we didn't have to look at the code anymore. We could make stuff without a traditional developer. But now we're getting to a new phase, right? And this is another foundational step, and it's not just what you said. Wait, I want to go to another of your articles, which I found fascinating, which you actually posted this morning. I am so lucky that I'm talking to you today. It's been such a good moment. Here, look, this article on your Twitter called "Are we in WordPress asking the right questions?" And then you said that people just want a website, right? That's you've been teaching all of these people. That's what you said in the beginning of this live stream. You've been teaching in real life in front of a class, and but if you want to work with WordPress, which is what you have explained for years and what I did on YouTube, you have to learn 74 interfaces or 74 buttons, multiple interfaces. Then you have a theme layer. What is that in today's world, even from a non-coder perspective, right? You have all of these different plugins. WordPress has made things easier, but they haven't really, in my opinion, and please push back if you don't agree, but in my opinion, Gutenberg and the whole block-based editing has been maybe a little bit too late coming to full development, because that whole wave is now has been taken by Elementor, and now we're going to get to the point of AI. And before you respond, I do want to point out one thing. In other words, they wanted something that just worked. For 20 years, we couldn't build that, so we built editors instead. Yeah, so editors like Elementor that could interact with the code. And then you said something here. A lot of products in our space, so in the WordPress space, are asking, how do we add AI into our existing tools? That was the first AI tools we saw, right? A plugin, generate a blog post, generate alt text, generate an image. Sure. Which often results in something like a button, AI assistant. But the question might be backwards, because the real question might be, what do our customers want? From your experience, you say, and this is the key, they don't want AI inside of the editor, they want AI instead of the editor. For
Yeah.
decades, the natural interface have used complex systems, etc. So you're talking about this concept of abstraction, which is what Elementor did to customizing themes. And I feel like AI may do this to page builders, whether that's Gutenberg or Elementor, DV, whatever, because it can bypass that. So how do you see that? Because you're also optimistic about the future of WordPress.
Yeah. Well, I kind of WordPress, if you look at its history, has gone through many iterations in terms of its editing experience, from HTML, Tiny MCE, and then we went Gutenberg, and now we've kind of got AI. And it's like, if you say what does somebody actually want to achieve? They want to achieve a web page layout, and if they can do that, why I don't see people. And I love Gutenberg. Obviously, I love Gutenberg, but I think we're going to look back in 5 years' time, and there are obviously use cases where people we're being quite reductive around some of this conversation, but there are use cases where people are always going to be using this stuff. But I don't see in 5 years' time a typical beginner will want to add a column layout to a website by adding a columns block first. I just don't see that in 3 years' time. That's in my experience of teaching beginners. They don't want to do that. They just want to be able to tell something to do it for them, and that's probably chat. And it does it beautifully, better than they could have ever imagined. And that's based on my experience of teaching 5,000 people in classrooms for the last 10 years. I don't see, and I think that's okay. WordPress still, that doesn't negate having WordPress. You're still going to need all the cool stuff that WordPress brings with you. We're just talking about the kind of theming layer on top of it and the editing experience.
The generating the pages, right? We're not talking about a whole ecosystem.
Yeah, the plugins is a huge strength. So if you want e-commerce, you can plug that in. If you want forms, you can plug that in, because that intellectual property, that intellectual work rather, has been done. All those plugins, 60,000 plugins.
Yes.
That gives WordPress a huge leverage. And the stuff that James LePage and his team are building around the abilities API lets AI tap into that stuff. So for me, I see a future, hopefully, where the AI is kind of doing the front end experience for people.
Yeah.
I suspect in my ideal world, the theming layer comes into question, what that looks like. I'm a big fan of kind of the headless experience that people are starting to experiment with. And I see the editing experience. The editing experience was only there as an abstraction to make it easier for people. That's why we built editors. And if AI does that in 10 times as easily and 10 times as well, then you ask the question, do we need an editor? I had this experience when I was using Lovable a year ago. It was a eureka moment for me. I was testing it, and I was building a site, and I built this very beautiful website, which is actually a headless WordPress website, which is actually, can I show it quickly? Is that possible?
Of course.
Have we got time?
Yeah, we got time. I don't know if you have time, but I made a lot of time for this one.
Let me share this. This is it. Can you see that?
Not yet. Wait, let me just click here, and then you click here. Yeah, now I see it.
Okay. Yeah, so this I built a year ago using Lovable, and it was a kind of a eureka moment, and it's kind of cool, right? This is headless. This is actually ingesting content from, it's cool, right? From a WordPress site, but this is built using Lovable, so it's like a front end headless version of WordPress, and it's just beautiful. So you've got this little thing here that pushes out. And then I've got this photo journal. This is pulling photos automatically from, of course, it's not going to load now, automatically from my WordPress site. There they are. Okay. So that's just automatically coming in. And then I've got writings here, which are being pulled automatically from my WordPress site. And then I've got light and dark mode. And this took me like an hour to build. And I think it's absolutely beautiful. And that would have taken, that would have taken a long time.
Yeah, and even the design idea of this, like when most people, I think this is also people that underestimate or overestimate their own skills. But like I've been a designer for a long time. I have a design degree, had a design agency. I've been teaching design on YouTube for a long time. And I'm not the best designer in the world, but I can see that this experience, what you're showing here, it maybe not the best layout for all websites, probably not, but it is creative. It is something that is hard to come up with by yourself. And I think we're often over, how do I say it? Over complicating or no, over, how do I say this? Overvaluing the absolute core of human creativity. Yeah, there's absolutely still a point to make, and human designers will, I think, always be better than AI, but only very good human designers. There are many people who are, yeah, I'm saying this a bit bluntly, but there are many people that are okay designers. And even myself, like I think I understand design quite well, but if I see what AI can generate today, I'm like, well, that's getting pretty close to my skills, if I'm really honest.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, but my eureka moment was with this was one was it didn't take long to build, and it was a very creative process to kind of build with it. The second one was I got to a point where I was like, well, I've built this thing, now I need a way to edit it, and I was starting to talk to the AI saying, I'm going to need an editor. And then I suddenly thought, no, I don't need an editor. Well, I just can tell the AI what to change, and that was like, oh yeah, this is the way people are going to want to do this stuff. They're not going to want to build editors. Now they will for certain use cases, like if you're in a big company or a news organization, you have complex workflows, you definitely need that. But for a lot of the people I've taught over the last 10 years, they're going to want to talk to it. And, just like they talk to a designer and say, go off and do this thing. It just felt very, very natural from that point on. So yeah, I think the editing is my view is we're going to have an AI first editing experience, or we should be aiming for that. That's the target, I think. And within that, it's not just going to be like, if we do that properly, it's not just going to be a chat box. It's going to be something else. I think we're still at the very early stages of what that experience looks like. Because for some people, being faced with just a chatbot is going to be very intimidating, and they're not going to have the ideas. So we're going to have there's opportunities for people to guide through that process, or you might have an interface which is you've got different agent designers that you want to work with that have different vibes, and you choose that one and they lead you down this path. So I think we're right at the early days of this, but I do think it's going to be an AI first experience. It's just so joyous and collaborative and a creative way to work, I think.
I completely agree with this, and I'm also seeing that editing panels are becoming less relevant. Maybe edit later. Lovable has this thing now. They didn't have this before, but you generate the whole thing, and then you can still click on a heading, for example, and then it gives you some options, and it's already connected to the variables that it has generated. So this is like a smart way to do it. But the whole starting with drag and drop, maybe that's gonna change. Maybe there will still be drag and drop, but you do it later if you want to add something. But yeah, then I think we have to also separate clients or DIYers from people like us who have experience and can help clients, because this process of guiding is incredibly important. But it's even if you have this perfect process, what you're describing, that you're like, hey, which agent designer do you want to work with? That's a very cool idea, right? And like, I like this style more, and this is my, and then the agent's gonna ask you about your business problems, etc. But this all requires humans to describe stuff about their own business. And if we know one thing about humans, which has nothing to do with technology, is that we find it hard to look at ourselves, describe ourselves, especially describes our pain and problems, and we cannot always come up with with a way to describe it. I mean, communication is a skill as well, and getting that out in that chatbot or whatever. So I think there's still huge opportunity there for agency work. I don't see a future where we're not gonna be able to help clients with it, but I do see that the amount of hours that we can charge for manually building and designing a page. I think that's going to take the biggest
Yeah.
hit. Yeah. But there's also lots of new opportunities, right? We can create web apps this is huge, right? You can connect your WordPress forms, for example, to a custom CRM that you build for your clients. It's like there's so much new opportunity as well. Like, do you also see that, and how do you see WordPress being connected in that story? Because it sounds kind of nice if you can, let's say you start in Lovable, you create your website in Lovable, and you also generate a web app that's completely connected into the same database. So this is also a conversation, I think, or a question that many people have right now, and that's what I want your opinion on. Like, where in this world, or for what type of websites would make WordPress sense if we can also just connect the database easily with a tool like Lovable? How do you see that?
Well, I think there's. I mean, the first thing is that there's always been like competing products to WordPress. That's not new, right?
Yeah.
And I think WordPress's challenge is to become as easy to use as Lovable. And of course, it's open source, which is a huge advantage because you can talk to it very, very easily. And it's free. That's another huge advantage. So
Yeah.
you can build stuff. You know, that's not to be discounted.
No.
It's free and it's open source, and you can change it and mold it to your will. So I'm very, you know, given what's happened over the last 3 months, I'm probably, obviously everyone has existential moments around where we're at, but I'm probably the most buoyant I've been around what's possible with WordPress than I've been for a long time, because the stuff you can create with it is getting to the point where it's really, really awesome, comparable to vibe coding tools. So I'm not sure I've answered your question at all, really. But I think I just think there's big opportunities for like agencies and freelancers around using WordPress as like the central source of truth for a lot of kind of where people live on the web, whatever
Yeah.
that's going to look like in the next few years.
Yeah. So, okay, so for how I see it is like beginner websites. Like, I think there are probably millions of WordPress websites which are just brochure websites. They have a simple hosting plan. Maybe an agency built it for them. These one of these agencies that generate a lot of websites really fast, or they did something themselves with a template, etc. And it's just a simple website. There's maybe a form plugin and whatever. And these kinds of websites, if they need to be rebuilt, I think that makes more sense. If there's no database, to just vibe code it. But yeah, then again, there will be many people who will just for the reason that their form plugin already has submissions there, they would just be like, okay, well, if we can also use AI here, then why would we turn to another platform like Lovable?
Yeah, why would
And yeah,
why would you rip out the plumbing of your if the AI, if you can point an AI at your existing WordPress site, which is outdated and slow and plugins need updating, and you can say, go off and improve it and make it 10 times better, why would you rip all that out for, you know, my wife runs a yoga studio, which is running a WordPress site. There's no way we're going to do that. That site has so much, it would take so much effort to migrate that site off WordPress. So
yeah,
there is 43% of the web running WordPress. Lots of websites could do with updating, and lots of those businesses that are running those websites could do with automating or adding value or being better.
yeah.
You know, that in itself is a massive opportunity for agencies to revisit those sites and say, look, we've got this a package, we can improve your site and get you more business, and we can build apps on top of it. And so
Yeah, and I
yeah,
think also with agencies, speed is not always what you want to achieve. Like, just let's say that companies like Lovable get to a point where it is just a lot easier to work with. I mean, that's probably what's going to happen, right? Because there is also a heaviness that comes with WordPress. There's plugin updates that you have to do. There can be problems. There's bloat. I mean, if you use a page builder, it's more than, of course, Gutenberg is optimized very much. But there is a heaviness that comes with WordPress, and at least that's my view. And so I think we will get to a time where these other platforms they will not have that heaviness. But then again, agencies do not always care about speed and super ease of use. They want a proper solution, right? And so because they want to have a good system for their clients, and so I also don't see that agencies are always going to choose the easiest option. Maybe the agencies that just want to move really fast and want to make a lot of websites, like those agencies will probably do it. But the bigger agencies, they want to have granular control, and that's why I think page builders. I don't know how you see that, but like page builders, they provide that, and so they want to have access. They want to be able to make some changes to the code or make a custom plugin or yeah, they want that. The value is not speed and ease of use is not always the option that agencies use, but for millions of websites that are simple, I think that's going to be hard to keep these people on the platform. That's how I see it.
Yeah, maybe. I do think there's an opportunity. Like WordPress.com has its own AI builder and drives a lot of traffic to that site. And WordPress has, and WordPress has, it has brand and distribution and a massive ecosystem. So I think if WordPress wants to do it and we execute it properly, like there's no reason why the experience of building a site with these models shouldn't be as joyous as using Lovable. And it's getting to the point. Sorry?
Yes. So do you think we can get to the point where you can literally go to the website, let's say WordPress.com, and you start with a prompt box, and then the moment you do that, it spins up a sandbox, and then it just generates the whole thing, and from there on, you can then decide, hey, host it there. Because I think that the threshold right now, or the roadblock is, oh, you have to pick a hosting company first, and then what hosting company, and then what hosting package, and then you have to install. And I think that all of those steps, that is creating a lot of friction to get started. But yeah, I think that if you can start with a prompt box, but I don't know if that's possible within WordPress.
Well, we have it now at WordPress.com. So you can go to WordPress.com today. We have an AI builder, and you can do exactly that experience. Now, at the moment, it's not as sleek as using Lovable, but a huge amount of work is going. Yeah.
Oh, so you're saying this is already here?
It's already here, and you can see other hosting companies are approaching this as well. So, so this stuff has started to emerge over the last 6 months.
Yeah.
And my point earlier was we are now getting to the point, and you saw in the Telex demo, we're getting to the point very soon where the experience should be, my hope is, as comparable to these vibe coding tools in terms of the WordPress experience.
Yeah.
So
it's not loading, but
and then you don't have to worry about hosting in that whole experience. You don't have to set up servers. You just go through that, build your site, and then you click launch, and you're kind of there.
That would be very good for WordPress.com hosting,
Yeah, well, we built it, and it's kind of a lot of work's going into it, and that's obviously that lowers friction enormously. And other hosts are doing it, so you can go and check out other hosts have got their own versions of this as well.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But how do you see what do you think makes WordPress strong? Like, what are the most valuable things apart from the plugins?
Well, we have 20 years of history, I think. I mean, we have a huge ecosystem and people around the world, and 43% of the web. I think the risk on all these things is we look at them purely from a technology point of view and go, well, this can do this and this can do this. And it's like, that's always been the case. There's always been tools that people have gone, when I first introduced WordPress into one of the businesses I ran, we were using a CMS called Ectron, which some of you would have heard of, which is a .NET CMS commercial. And my developers were all .NET developers, and they hated PHP and they hated WordPress, and they couldn't, and they were always saying this technology is much, much better. And that argument's always been made that the technology, WordPress doesn't, the stack doesn't compete, and people always complain about the stack. What WordPress has really, grown from is the ecosystem of people building with open source. That's kind of, and that hasn't changed. In my view, that is like, the potential of that is even stronger with AI, because it's kind of democratized that people are going to be able to mold this tool now without having to go through complex learning. They can actually just talk to AI, and the AI will start to build them these sites. So for me, that's kind of like, that's why it probably, you can't do some of the stuff we're demoing today with Wix in terms of, because it's not open source and it's a
Yeah.
closed platform.
Yeah.
Um, and you can't, I can't control what Lovable do at the end of the day. I might go up tomorrow and they've changed their model and I'm completely stuffed. So
Yeah.
there's some business risk around using these tools as well. So I think WordPress has historically been behind, but I think that's natural for a piece of software that's been 20 years. But there's a kind of consolidation of models improving, AI, the stuff James LePage and his team are doing. They're kind of coalescing into this moment where we're getting to the point where it's like getting, incredibly exciting to start building with WordPress again. Like the stuff we've been sharing on Twitter
Yeah.
and stuff privately, it's like, wow, that's incredible. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I agree. I'm just challenging the idea a little bit. That's of course my role here in this live stream. I also see well. There's of course this is these are the questions I think we should ask right now, and I think it also makes us sharp, right? In the same way as what you said on Twitter. Are we asking the right questions? Because WordPress should take this very seriously, but listening to you, it sounds like they really are. They're not just defending the past. They're saying like, hey, we completely believe in AI. We're not just saying like, oh, we're sticking to the old. No, we're going all in on it because we understand. And I think the power of WordPress is that the vision has always been very strong, which is well, first it was democratizing publishing, and now they've expanded it to democratizing publishing or the web. I don't know exactly what the quote is right now, but I think that's what it is, right? Democratizing the web
yeah,
creation.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and I think
I mean,
that's
the other thing to say here is nobody knows, right? This is a moment of. I mean, the other great thing that WordPress has got going for it actually is that we are in a moment of huge disruption, and
mm,
because of the way WordPress is set up, which annoys lots of people because it feels kind of chaotic, but because of that, because we're actually weirdly kind of really agile, because somebody can come up with an idea over here and it can be plugged into WordPress.
you're
It's not like
right.
there's not just one person going, we're going here. And actually, at this moment of craziness and massive disruption,
Oh,
having
that's what
that
you
as a
need.
kind of foundation culture in our DNA is actually, it feels like a weakness because some people are going, no, it must do this, it must have
Mm,
this. But actually, having that flexibility, we might look back and go, that was actually its main strength. It was kind of set up to be organic and slightly chaotic. Like if you're trying to create an organization right now, that's difficult, right? How do you create an organization if you've got like 1,000 people working for you? How do you create an organization that's dealing with the wave that AI is coming? And probably one of the things you want to think about is how do we make ourselves as agile as possible so we can adapt as quickly as possible? And WordPress,
that's
WordPress, WordPress feels slow, but it's kind of open, right? So if you have an idea and you want to do it, you can kind of do it. So it's an interesting conundrum.
that's a very good point. That's the best point I've heard so far as in a defense on WordPress, because exactly we don't know exactly what's going to happen, and you need to absolutely be agile in this time. Like I'm also doing that with my content. I'm not just saying like, okay, this is where things are going. I'm dipping my toes into vibe coding, but I'm also still doing Elementor stuff, and I don't know, maybe Elementor AI will be super good, right? Maybe Gutenberg AI or whatever. And it's like we have no idea,
Yeah,
but we do know that the workflow of prompting is superior, but that cannot do everything, because
yeah,
I think also another strength is that the um, the available options for you to explore. So if you're vibe coding, you have to ask everything. So let's say SEO, right? You want an SEO optimized website. You can vibe code, but how can you be an effective vibe coder and create good SEO? You can only do that if you know what is possible. And how did these people learn that? Well, probably through a WordPress plugin or something else. And so this exploration that you just install a plugin and you're like, oh shit. Okay, yeah, that was my camera again. Yeah, okay. Sometimes my iPhone does a weird thing. But this exploration thing, you just install a plugin and you're like, oh wait, what is this? A schema? Oh, let me just go on YouTube or go to chat and ask what a schema is. And then you discover something new. But that's a big downside of a chat. It's that it's empty. It's an empty box. And so you need a really good plan. And I think WordPress it's just a playground basically. You just, oh, I can do this. Oh, I can activate this plugin. Oh, delete it. And like, oh, and this. What about this? And what about this? And like you learn through playing with this platform.
Yeah. And WordPress has always been really good at kind of giving people the space to disagree and come up with their own ideas. And if they produce something that's like amazing, it'll get brought into core, right?
Yes. Yeah. It's a collaborative thing.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that that's a big strength. We've got some questions.
Yeah, let's we're 1 hour in now, so let's do answer some questions and then we're gonna end it. I'm just gonna pull some stuff up. So now is the moment, guys. If you're watching live, you have a question or you just want to share your view on it, drop it in the chat. Drop it again, even if you have already dropped it. I'm not gonna scroll back all the way. I'm just gonna choose. Okay. What about now? Yes, exactly. Now is the moment to place your comments. Let's see what Dennis is saying. Dennis is always here. Like I say before, in other streams, WordPress needs to shift to another way of seeing how people use WordPress is still blog. Yeah, that's an interesting point. Like, do you also think that WordPress still holds on to this blog thing too much? Like the default installation is still blogged and comments and almost nobody uses comments. Like, how do you see that?
Well, I see a lot of the sites, again, we tend to see WordPress as in what are, there's two discussions here, right? One is the kind of onboarding experience. I think that's a valid point. The second is I see a lot of sites that big publishers are using with WordPress who are definitely not using it as a blog CMS. They're using it in massive newspaper publications for very complex workflows like News International, doing some amazing stuff with Gutenberg. So yeah, I agree on the onboarding. I think that's definitely blog centric and I think that could be changed. But there are some, I mean, lots of enterprises are using WordPress for incredibly complex workflows, which we probably should try and highlight more.
Yeah, but I think for the default, right? If you want to keep new people to the if you want to attract new people to the platform, it just feels a little bit weird that you always present it with a blog instead of that's an option. You know, that's, I think the strength of WordPress is that it is a good CMS, but like there's no custom post type builder. You have to install a plugin and you have to know which one it is.
Yeah, but most people won't be using custom post types, honestly.
Really?
In WordPress. I know, and your audience will be, but I bet you all the money in my bank account that most people will not be using custom post types. An agency-centric market will be, but the average person will not be using custom post types in WordPress. So again, we come back to what should go in core, what shouldn't go in core, and that's a fine debate. But also, I don't see the onboarding experience as being the onboarding experience. It shouldn't be the onboarding experience in a year's time, right? It should be an AI onboarding experience, which is completely separate to what we're talking about here. So we can spend our time rebuilding the bridge, or we can build an aeroplane. And I think we should build the aeroplane to get across.
I like that.
The bridge. I don't see that's how people. I don't see how people are going to be interact. I hope that's not how people are going to, interacting in WordPress in a year, 2 years time. I think we can do better.
Okay, another one. WordPress key feature is open source, big history, and a lot of devs who understand the architecture. The biggest struggle in my eyes is the gap between old school devs and new age kids. Yeah,
Yeah,
how are you, how, because I
yeah,
think even Matt talked about that, like how are we gonna
yeah.
attract the new cool kids and how are we gonna keep them on the platform?
I think first product, the product has to be like, so people like you can get excited about creating content around WordPress. Like the same excitement I sense it with you that you're creating with your vibe coding videos. I sense that product has to be there, and then it's like, how do we get and then content is a big part of that as well. But I think honestly, the product has to be as exciting for to use as some of these vibe coding tools. Like you see a lot of the Lovable stuff. They're going to schools and they're doing like hackathons with kids where they're building apps. Do you know what I mean?
Insane.
That's that's where we need to be. But that comes from and there's great initiatives to do stuff in universities. But I would love to be able to, have a product that was that easy to use that we could do stuff like that. And we can do stuff like that, but it needs a lot of hand holding at the moment. So
So my personal question is why has it taken, I'm saying this a bit bluntly, but I think, yeah, I think I can say that. Why has it taken 15 years to redesign the interface? And they have announced it like more than 2 years ago. And it is not a question to you like that you should justify the company decisions, but I'm just like,
yeah,
if we want to attract the cool kids and keep them on there and attract them, is it not incredibly important that this part finally gets updated?
probably not. I mean,
No.
this is my personal view. I don't think a refresh on honestly, I don't think an admin. I've never had a client complaint. I know a lot of people are very passionate about the admin interface, so I'm probably going to start a
Me,
fire here.
I
I've
am
never
really passionate about
I've
it.
never had a client in all my years complain to me about the admin interface, and I don't think that would not be my focus. It definitely can be improved. I'm
No,
not
no,
saying it
no.
can't, but I don't think that's where I would start. I would start on the front end and say, make that experience beautiful.
Okay,
Okay.
I respectfully fully disagree because the um
And it is
okay,
getting a refresh it's getting a refresh in WordPress 7.
I know, but I hope it is before my pension starts. Sorry, it's just
We can
been
make the
waiting
most
so long.
we can make the most beautiful admin interface in the world, and it's not going to shift the dial in terms of new users.
It kind of is because okay, so I have
I really don't want to spend 5 minutes talking about the admin interface.
okay,
Go on, no,
okay,
go on,
but
go on, go on, go on, go on.
I just want to say one thing that I got
Yeah,
from my design degree. Like there is lots of things that design um, influences in an indirect way. This is also why boring, repeating advertising still works because it's in the back of our head. It doesn't register it on the prefrontal cortex on the rational level. It just happens in
yeah.
the background, so your argument that people or your clients will not complain about the interface, I don't think they ever will, but it's a feeling of like, is this a platform that is actually taking the future seriously? And so yes, you can build the most amazing prompt box, but if people log in and they feel like this is still the same stuff as it was in 2010, then it's very hard to convince them that the whole workflow is actually super modern. So I think you're making it very hard for yourself as WordPress as a company to not just fix that small thing basically because it's not a huge
Just
thing.
I'm nothing to do with the admin interface, so
No,
I
I
don't have
know,
any
I know,
outdated
I
interface. But
know, I
I
know.
I I don't mind it. I mean, I'm not a from an aesthetic point. I know people are going to jump on me here. I don't mind the admin interface.
Mhm.
It's never offended me. I'm kind of
Okay.
like, yeah, it makes sense. Stuff is where I want it to be.
It doesn't
I can't.
offend me, but I'm
Never.
like not
I've never
excited
thought.
about it.
I'm being honest. I've never thought of the admin interface. Oh, I'd really like it to do this. I've just never had that
Okay.
experience. I would love the front end to be a beautiful experience for people. And so, a
Hmm.
question for you: if you had a choice, A or B, you can work on the admin interface, or you can create a beautiful front end experience for users. Where do you spend your time, Rena?
Okay, if I would run WordPress right now, that would be the first thing I tackle because it's just a branding thing, and I think WordPress has a
Perfect.
branding issue, And that's the first thing that I would tackle. Of course, like I would absolutely invest in AI and make sure that that front end experience is good. But like I think this is one of these things that has been so long on the to-do list, and been like on the do that I would just quickly knock it out. Like that's what I would do.
Well, here's what I would do, because obviously you can do that with WordPress. It's open source. So what I would do is create a beautiful piece of video with your new interface design. Get loads of people to start shouting a bit like Mike McAllister's and some of his work, which has now gone into core. And you get a following. Go, this is what it should be like. I mean, it sounds a bit glib, but that is the opportunity in WordPress. You can actually go and you can go and get involved and say this, we need this, and
so less complaining, more doing.
Well, yeah, maybe.
It's okay.
I don't think. Like I did this video with Brian Cords last year, which was how to fix Gutenberg, where we were very polite. Actually, it was before I joined Automatic, but we were very polite and we pointed out a lot of the issues that it had. And actually, I did this series of videos with my daughters where I give them tasks to do, and they were trying to accomplish them. And I got feedback. This was before I joined Automatic, that people in Automatic and then in WordPress had watched those videos and had taken action on them because of how they saw my daughters struggling with some aspects of Gutenberg. So you can, which is a beautiful thought. Yeah. My daughters were having impact on software that's running 43% of the web. So you do have agency with your 267,000 subscribers to have impact.
Well, thank you. And I know, like I mainly my efforts has been in Elementor. I have been, and also with other products, I've influenced things in the background that people don't even know. Just I send videos to companies, and sometimes that has an effect. So I do understand the impact of my work, even though even if the video only gets a few thousand views, it only has to see one. You only have to put a seed in one person's mind, which is important enough. And change can happen. So okay.
Yeah, Dennis is saying, "Waha, Jamie, good call." So I think he agrees with me that you're wrong, and I'm probably right on that.
About the interface, you mean?
Dennis, I think just give a thumbs up.
Dennis, okay, we'll see. Let's move on from the interface. We're having a super chat. Somebody paid something. That's nice. What is that? P50? What is that? 50p? What country are you doing that from? That's very nice. It looks like a super chat. I think we got a little donation for our discussion.
That's Bitcoin, I think.
Oh, maybe it's Bitcoin. That would be 50 Bitcoin. That's a pretty good donation.
Right, we're off. Let's retire.
Okay.
Thanks, Dennis confirmed.
Dennis confirmed it?
Yeah.
Okay, Dennis. Okay. Maybe. Well, like you said, what I can do if I really want the interface to change, I can do. I can give some ideas, and I've complained before about it, but yeah, you're not the first one who tell me this, that I with my channel I can influence something, but WordPress always feels like this big monster that cannot be influence it easily, because if you're our position, we get approached by every single company inside of WordPress. Like I oh my god, my email inbox right now, I haven't, because I'm so busy with all of the content right now, I haven't checked my collaborations email for 3 weeks. It's on 60 emails right now. I don't even want to get started.
Well, that's another interesting. Now, since I joined Automatic, I'm not doing any sponsored video content. I had a few leftovers to run, but I would say that you've probably seen the shift too, right? 90% of the emails I get for sponsorships are AI companies, not WordPress companies at all now.
Yeah.
Like
it's shifting.
And some of the money they're talking about is absurd as well. Like it's just crazy. The amount of money swirling around.
Oh, of course. I sometimes, people don't really like it when there's too much sponsored content, but they don't see the 99% of sponsors we reject before we accept one, so yeah. But what I wanted to say is that why did I want to say that about the collaborations? Shit, I forgot my point. Let's go back to the chat. Such a great chat. Thank you, Lana from CrocoBlock.
I've got to go in about 3 minutes, Reno.
Okay, so all right.
Yeah.
Sure. You, Dennis doubles down. You can't work on everything. You're right. The admin is still the same, but the experience feels outdated. Yeah, okay. It just feels outdated, you know. All right, but
I think
yeah,
if you go and install the Vue Transitions plugin, which I think might be coming to WordPress 7, that it
yeah.
feels beautifully buttery smooth. Vue Transitions, it's a free plugin,
Mm,
which it just makes the whole. It's not going to solve all your problems, but it does make it feel a bit smoother.
yeah, I've tested that one. It's very nice. It makes it a lot
Yeah,
smoother. Yeah, but you know, this discussion was mainly about WordPress. It was just like this thing about the interface. Many people have
yeah.
strong feelings about it. So yeah. Okay, Jamie, I want to thank you a lot. I could talk an hour more with you, and I'm sure we will have a good conversation on WordCamp. If there are people here watching right now, they're also coming to WordCamp. Then feel free to walk up to us, and please don't
Can I
just yeah.
can I do a quick plug for WordCamp? So
Of course, yeah.
yeah, so WordCamp Asia in Mumbai in April. We're doing a speed build, which is a live build where we've got 2 players on stage building a site. And it's coming to Mumbai, which is incredibly exciting. So if you're in Mumbai, come and say hello, but also come and watch that one because it's kind of traumatic for me because I'm trying to run it, but it's also a lot of fun and jeopardy. So come and say hello. There you go.
And of course, let's also give well, the link to his channel is in the YouTube description. I would advise if you're on Twitter to follow him there. Let me just quickly share that on the screen. So this is Jamie's Twitter, Pootle Press. That's your name. That's your name, right?
Well, yeah, that's my old company name, which is still you can't change Twitter name. So that's, Poodle Press.
Okay. And on YouTube, it is also Pootle Press.
No, it's Jamie WP.
Jamie WP. There we go. So if you want to get to his channel, and where can they reach you if they want, or is that just like not really what you want to share?
Yeah, just DM me on probably X is probably the best place.
Yeah.
Just message me on X, and that's
Yeah.
probably the best place at the moment.
Yeah. Okay. All right, Jamie.
Thanks so much. Thanks
Thank
everyone.
you. Yeah, thank you everyone. This was great, and we'll probably have more clarity. Yeah.
Sorry, I am on LinkedIn. Find me on LinkedIn as well. So
Okay.
I'm
Okay.
actually
LinkedIn.
more active on LinkedIn, which is
Yeah.
it's LinkedIn. I'm finding much more useful these days than I used to. So I'm on LinkedIn. Just probably search for my name, Jamie Marsland, and you'll find me on there. Yeah. Sorry.
All right. No. I'm so happy that you decided to spend 1.5 hours with me on this, and thank you again. And people in the comments are also very happy that you were here. Thank you both for this talk. See you there, Jamie. Okay, people are coming to WordCamp, so that is very cool. Which WordCamp? Yeah, the one in Asia, in Mumbai, in a month from now, a month or two.
I think it's April the 8th or 9th, isn't it? April the 9th, I think.
Yeah, I will show it. You have to go now. I will give a little bit more context about that, and then we'll just end the stream after that. So thank you, Jamie. And
thanks, everyone.
We'll speak.
Cheers, bye.
That was the discussion. What did you guys think? I haven't checked all the comments, but I'm gonna do that right now, and I'm also gonna just quickly pull up that WordCamp event we're going to. So WordCamp Asia. Oh, wait, this one? Oh, this one. This is the event. It's the biggest WordPress event. The Asia edition is always very big. The Europe one as well. I'm not sure yet if I'm gonna go to to the Europe one as well. But yeah, Jamie and I are both gonna be here. I think it was a very interesting discussion, guys. What do you think? Like, it's you know, it's so good to have these discussions because it's if you're only in your own head, you're in an echo chamber, and it's interesting to see the chat. Some people, I see Lex Lex agree with me on the interface, and Dennis doesn't. So yeah, there's different people, different perspective, and that's how we learned from each other. And I just want to say one more thing before we end, and that's that I'm guilty of this as well, but I think our mind, we always want to think in black and white, right? We want to see like, okay, is WordPress gonna die? You know, is this page builder gonna die? And the truth is probably that we're gonna have a whole bunch of different tools existing next to each other, and there's probably gonna be even more workflows than what we have today, right? Because until 2 years ago, the only discussion we had was, well, the first discussion is, are you going to handwrite code or page builder? But most people have realized that page builders are more efficient, so and a nicer experience. So, but then within page builders, you can choose a whole bunch of things, right? Inside and outside of WordPress. But now the discussion is much wider. It's are we gonna do the old page builder, just doing everything manually because we don't like AI? That's also, of course, still an option. Then are we going to integrate AI into that builder? Then maybe just use the AI tools that they provide? Or are we going to connect our Claude and we're going to create some skills that are specific to our workflow? I'm starting to become a big fan of that. So I hope that builders like Elementor will also allow that. I'm actually testing an MCP right now. It's going to be interesting. I got a video call 2 days ago from a company that built a WordPress MCP, and they can basically control everything within WordPress and also inside of page builders. So that's going to be a workflow. Yeah, what else? Of course, not having a page builder, but doing it straight into Gutenberg. Then also, what you can also do, what Jamie also showed, is Claude Code goes straight into the theme. So you don't even have the editing panel, but you do have WordPress to plug all of your plugins in. Because again, a website is not just front end, right? We need to connect all kinds of systems. It needs to have backups, it needs to have analytics, you need to have a cookie plugin, you need to have an uptime monitor. You need all of these different things in order to make it work. So it is a lot more. I just wanted to say this, that the whole discussion on social media is often like, oh, this company is dead. It's like, well, it's not really like that. And of course, I am challenging Jamie's views a little bit, and I know he is really a fan of the future and AI, and me too. But I just hope that you see my dynamic here. I'm not just going into one direction yet. Maybe I will at some point decide like, okay, this is the direction I'm going to go into. I'm right now in a phase where I'm trying to figure out what this new workflow is. And so when we have a person like Jamie in the call, I'm just gonna challenge his views a little bit and, you know, play devil's advocate a little bit. And yeah, in this way we can get insight. So I hope that I did a good job here. Let's quickly check the comments. Admin assignment. Yeah, absolutely. I made a video about that like probably a year ago. This was a game changer. Yeah, I'm in Mumbai. Important talks. Yeah, it was definitely important. You think the same? I agree with you, like Jamie, like since we have choices. Yeah, okay. Let's just check a few comments and then I'm gonna close it off. Yeah, AI in Gutenberg for WordPress is going to be a nice future. You can easily extend WP if you like. You have more design control. Yeah. I mean, speed is gonna become more important, right? But page builders are also moving in this direction, where we're gonna get more speed. Lusaka and Zambia, okay. Just putting final touches on the headless Next.js frontend that's connected to my... Oh, that's another workflow that's possible, right? Headless, you just create the frontend in Lovable. Wait, I actually need to write that down. That's actually a good point. Frontend vibe coding and backend WordPress. So you're using the WordPress post system, and then the front is completely super fast, clean code. Very, very good point, Jason. Claude Code and Cowork would be a game changer. Yeah, we would love to come back to WordPress if something is coming to the future, but the point of speed is a function flow. come back to WordPress? Okay, did you already move to away? I don't know what you mean with that, but yeah, it has been interesting. Is that on brand perception? Yeah, and I can't wait to see Reno's video. Yeah, like it's for me personally, I just don't understand why why I why this is such a thing that there is a resistance on. Like it's not that hard to make it better. It's not a big task, right? And I understand that they want to rebuild the whole thing with a modern stack. And because right now it's based on old code. I mean, I've heard that from some developers that that's the reason why they cannot do it. But like, yeah, I think brand perception is incredibly important, and I am a big fan of that. Like much of my skills as a human are in branding and marketing, and I'm also a designer and a no-code developer. But I care a lot about how a brand positions itself, and I want to feel like I'm working on the future, right? And I think this has a deep effect on the subconscious of us. And so I think if WordPress would modernize, just even before they let's say that they're close to revamping the whole UI. I know, but let's say that takes another year. I would just give WordPress 7 a little fresh paint, and not just the colors. They changed the colors. That's already better. But I think it just needs a little bit more, Yeah. He just pops the comments which supports. Why are you so pushy? What? Somebody pushy here? I don't know about that. That's research for that. Anti-gravity and Gemini. Yeah, I would love to test more of these things, guys. I came in a bit late. Did he mention schema plugging? I've been added up manually too, but I know there are plugins there. Anyone have any? I don't know. Are you talking about the SEO schema? I'm not exactly sure. Drupal have done that as well, Reno. It looks totally different from the view. Yeah, and again, I think that that's very important for the perception of the brand. And if WordPress is struggling right now to attract the cool kids, yeah, then and if you're not taking design, if you're not prioritizing design and just how it feels, right? Not really how it changed in the way it works, but just how it feels. I think it will be very hard to attract the cool kids, because if you don't understand, this is my point. If you don't understand how WordPress works and you come into this world for the first time, the only thing you can judge is your eyes. Like in the same way, if you're meeting a girl, the first thing you have to judge is how she looks. You don't know about her personality, so you cannot judge it, right? And this is why it's incredibly hard for WordPress to attract the new cool kids, because that first judgment can only be on the visual side, and then after years you realize the power of WordPress, but then you've already accepted the interface, so. Brand perception. Somebody tell me Builders, their sense AI doesn't work. Oh, Builders, yeah, I have that. I've seen that. It's quite cool. It's a generation inside of it. Tuning in a bit. Yeah, you're very late. We're literally at the end of the live stream. But of course, you can watch it back. This live stream will be automatically turned into a replay. Guys, this has been great. I'm gonna close it off now with all of the news I had to hang up. It's always deciding which one to keep, because the cost. Oh, that's a good point as well. That's a very good point. But then again, even if you decide right now, or if you are convinced that AI coding tools are better and they can solve every problem that WordPress has, or they are better than WordPress. Let's say that you come to that conclusion. Then what are you going to do with all these websites that you have right now? You're going to convert them? Probably not. Maybe if you're deciding that you're going to do a rebuild, but people don't have time right now to rebuild the whole thing, right? So that's why WordPress market share will not immediately drop right now. It's impossible, right? Just the fact that something is available does not mean people will start using it. I mean, look at Claude and ChatGPT. I mean, now actually this week, people uninstalled ChatGPT a lot because of some shady stuff that they're doing. But most of the world just uses ChatGPT. They don't even know Claude exists. So yeah, that's all I wanted to say. This has been amazing, guys. Thank you, as always, for being here. This was fun, and I will see you in the next stream.